This is life.
I'm Dominic Calvert-Lewin. This is my story. I grew up in Hillsborough, but the local team there, Sheffield Wednesday, but I'm a Blade, so my family are Blades, so I grew up supporting them. Always used to go down the local park, Hillsborough Park, and play football with my mates. There was like a concrete pitch with cage nets and a basketball net on the top, so a lot of the times we used to play on there, and me and a group of mates would go down, and a lot of the times there'd be groups of people older than us, so we'd ask them for a game, but we were decent, so we'd always give a good game. I remember getting smashed in the mouth a few times with just flailing arms from people older than me, but that was the time when you'd try your tricks and things and you'd get like a wow from someone who's watching on the side. My dad took me to a team. It wasn't Handsworth Boys at the time, but I think I would have been like under sixes, and it was for the under sevens, and I remember running around, something that stays with me, and all the kids were chasing one ball around, and I ran in. He was like, go on, like, get yourself off. And I remember just jogging around on the outskirts, not really wanting to get involved, and I just started crying, and then turned to my dad. He was like, come on, let's go home. And he weren't very happy at the time, I remember. A year later, I went for the under sevens at Handsworth Boys, played there, and then I went on, there was like a Saturday thing you could go to. They had like the main kind of team. This was under 8s before you kind of signed for a team, and I remember going to that, and then the main team was off training by themselves, and then the coach walked over. It was Scott Sellers at the time, and just said, is your name Dominic? And I was like, yeah. He's like, come with me, and then that was it. I signed for Sheffield United. I made my debut when I'd just turned 18, just about. It was away at Leyton Orient. I come on for about the last 30 minutes, and I remember just thinking, just run around, and I was knackered, just chasing round, and I think it was more like just a proud like landmark to say I've made my debut. I think I felt at the time it had been coming. I'd been out on loan at Stalybridge as well, scored a few goals there in that same season, and then got called back and was training with the first team ever since, and then was on the bench a few times before I came on at Leyton Orient away, and that was the second to last game of the season. So I remember thinking, I want to get on and make my debut this season, and thankfully I came on, and then I came on the next game at Chesterfield. But that day we was 1-0 down when I came on, and we scored whilst I was on the pitch, and I remember just celebrating, thinking, this is a bit mad, this, like, I've grown up watching this and now I'm here playing, and just a great feeling. And then 2 days before the window shut, in August, I think it was a Monday night, and the deadline shut on Wednesday, and I got a call. I was due to play for Sheffield United the next day, on Tuesday, and my agent rang me. I was sat around the table at my granddad's house with a few of my family, just Sonny at the time, having a coffee, I remember, and he was like, Everton's back on. And I was like, shut up, you're lying. And he was like, no, seriously, they've like come in again, and it's looking more serious this time. And like, all my family were screaming and things like that, and as you'd imagine, excited and things. And then turned up on Tuesday. It was a bit like touch and go again. I was just waiting for the green light, and I got pulled out of the game. So then I thought, it's serious this time, and my agent said, make sure you grab your boots after the game because you probably need them. Took my boots, and then Wednesday, 12 o'clock, got the green light to come for my medical, and the rest is history, really.
Alright, this is the end of life, out of mind, out of sight. Liquid is blended ice, only time I see the light, when morning turns into night. This is left, no it's right, living comes with a price. What would you do for paper? No, what would you do for likes?
Yeah, I remember the first time training with the first team and just thinking, like, I've got to be on it, and just, I think it's when you realise you can cope with a standard, and it's a realisation of that at first, and then you think, right, can I start adding a bit to doing that little bit extra, and then that's when you realise you're fully settled in. It was a bit of a whirlwind time because I made my first start roughly 8 weeks before that against Southampton, and within 12 minutes I'd gone off with an ankle injury, and that put me out for 8 weeks. And I remember just coming in off that and sitting there and being, it was more surreal to be sitting in the physio room 12 minutes after than it was to be coming on the pitch as a starter. And then I came off the bench against West Brom the week before I scored, and I thought it felt good to be back on the pitch, and back involved and knowing that my injury hadn't really set me back too far. And then I started the week after, and I scored after 8 minutes, and I it's more like a relief feeling actually, to know that you've done it, and I've scored in the Prem finally, and just it's a bit of a drug, to be honest. Like once you do it once, you just want to do it over and over again, and I don't know the word to completely describe the feeling of scoring, but it's just a strange feeling.
As I travel on this road of light, with the road in light, with the slang is engraved with a slavery language, in the streets of babe with the pain of slave ships, still I submit to it, falling stiff to it. How can I never get it fit to it? I see heaven at the end, I'm trying to get to it.
There's a few moments in my career that I've had so far that I could describe as unbelievable, and that'd be one of them. We were confident going into there, and we knew that Venezuela were an awkward team but a good team, and they had good players, and Cookie had a deep free kick, and I just remember he had one 5 minutes before and he didn't play it. So before he took the free kick, I was screaming at him, just kick it in behind, and their back line was so high. And I gambled up with the header, and luckily it bounced down for me nice, and had a shot, keepers parried it, and I just followed it in. And I remember everything just went slow motion as the ball was bouncing, and I was just thinking, it's on your left foot, focus on the contact and just make sure you hit the target. And thankfully I did, and found the bottom corner, and just remember just wheeling off to the corner flag again, and then all the boys jumping on my back. But for me, that was a time where I think I did about 5 celebrations in one, just as I ran off. But that goal for me meant a lot, because it proved to me, and probably proved to myself, that I can compete at that level, and just an extremely proud moment to score in a World Cup final.
But I'm feeling so low. I'm with the king, feel like I'm riding solo. Fire rain on my head, on my cold.